Good morning. This is Jayson Coil, Operations Section Chief for Southwest Area Team 1. Today is July 27th, and this is your morning operational update on the Laguna fire. We did get another infrared flight last night, and it mapped the fire at 17,388 acres. Still 75% contained, and there are currently 195 personnel assigned to the incident. Today, overnight, the humidity recovery was very low. It was 22%, and as Bladen, our incident meteorologist, would say, that was the afternoon in the middle of the night. So we want the humidity to come up at night generally. However, we'll take advantage of what occurred overnight because it allows the fuels that are next to the line, the burning logs, things like that, that are in the burned area to fully consume. And when they fully consume, then they're no longer a threat to escape, if you will, under unfavorable conditions like high winds, which is a good thing because tonight we are expected to see southeast winds increase overnight, and some of the models that have been presented have it up to 30 miles an hour. Southeast winds are something that we haven't seen on the fire yet, so anytime that we have a new wind direction, especially high-speed winds and low humidity, it's something that we pay attention to. I'll go around the map right now and tell you what we're doing today and what we plan on to prepare for tonight. All right, in the northwest corner of the fire, we're going to start up here in Division Alpha. On the left side of the map here, this natural barrier, or this dozer line, I beg your pardon, and then hand line that ties into the natural barrier. You can see that this yellow is heat from the infrared flight last night. We're going to make sure that this line is improved and that the access capabilities that it provides us for UTVs that have water pumps and stuff on the back of them is maintained, because southeast winds would be blowing this direction. So this portion of the line is one of the ones that we're going to pay a lot of attention to today to make sure that if those strong southeast winds do materialize overnight, that we have removed any of the potential heat near the line, so there's less likelihood that it spots over the line and then gets into fresh fuel. The rest of Division Alpha, all the way along the northern side below the natural barrier, everything there is looking really good. And by that I mean that it has not moved outside of the previous perimeter and that there's nothing there that we see that presents a threat to the line. Yesterday afternoon, there was an area where the fire made a small little run, if you will. I think this constituted about 30 or maybe 40 acres at the most. But what happened here is that either a little bit of heat that was down here from this bottom or something from up here found fresh fuel and then ignited. It put up some black smoke for a while. By the end of the night, it was laying down, and it was no threat to the line. So this is still our natural barrier that we want to use. So nothing moved beyond those barriers. And it just basically cleaned up some of the juniper that were in here. And although it had a lot of smoke associated with it, there was really no consequence. All right, we'll move on. Now we go down here to the Laguna Ranch area. And this area that 2 days ago there was some trees torching the interior but close to the line. No activity there the day before yesterday. No activity yesterday. And far fewer smokes up on the side of the slope. So you can see here that there's nothing that's showing on our infrared. The closest piece of heat are these little pins down here and one right there. All that heat that was in this finger that was dropping off and everything that was above Laguna Ranch is not present, and it hasn't been observable from the ground either because we have people down here watching it. So everything in that Laguna Ranch area is looking a lot better. And now we will move on to the Division Mike. All right, so we're in La Presa Canyon here, and then we have our wet line. At least the last 2 days, we had heat, which is what this yellow part indicates, heat that was shown on infrared that was immediately adjacent to the line. And that is, may not look like much, it's back just a little bit, but that's what we want to see. And the reason is, as I said earlier, we want the fuels to consume, but we're hitting this with heavy helicopters at least twice a day, sometimes more, to maintain this wet line. This is just fuel, and then it's fuel that we've gotten very wet, and then it's the fuel that's burned. So as that wet line dries out, we don't want to see fire advancing across that line. The fact that we're able to maintain this wet line and that the heat is moving back to the southeast away from there is a positive indicator. The bad part about getting it wet is if we get logs that are partially burned wet and we don't put them out, then it just takes longer for them to consume. So that's why I say that that's a positive indicator, and it's something that that we're going to watch today again, because southeast winds, if they blow truly out of the southeast, then they're like this. If they have more of an easterly component, then they could blow any embers that are near, or anything that could produce embers near the line across into the La Presa drainage. As we go around the fire up on what we're calling the ramp and then up above Mike's Meadow, far less heat again today. There was no movement during the day yesterday. They were able to check this up with helicopters, and they're going to continue to do the same thing today. And looking up to the north side of Division, Mike, everything else is unremarkable. So it is normally a bad practice to use helicopters without being able to back them up with boots on the ground, because you really never put it out. And so you keep doing that over and over again, and it's like Groundhog Day. We're going to keep doing it over and over again because we anticipate that as we enter into more moderating and more consistent conditions that are consistent with this time of the year, that the work we're doing as a delaying action will allow us to control that portion of the fire. We'll be here again tomorrow for tomorrow's operational period. Team 1 will be, and then if we need to stay longer, we will. But right now, it's looking like we'll be able to get around this and make it where the complexity of the entire incident is far less, and we'll be able to hand it over to a smaller incident management team like we planned on doing yesterday. That concludes your operational briefing. Thank you.